The story of Hannah, the power of a praying woman. Prologue, a silent cry. In the hill country of Ephraim, where olive trees swayed gently in the wind and the sun cast golden light across the valleys, there lived a woman whose name would echo through generations, not because of wealth, not because of status, but because of her prayer. Her name was Hannah. And though her home was filled with provision, her heart carried an ache no one could see, an ache that only God could heal. Hannah was married to a man named Elkanah, a good man, devoted to God. He loved Hannah deeply, more than anything in the world. Yet, their home was not complete, for Hannah had no child. In a culture where children were seen as a blessing and legacy, barrenness was not just a personal sorrow, it was a public shame. Each passing year deepened the wound. Each festival reminded her of what she did not have. To make matters worse, Elkanah had another wife, Peninnah. Peninnah had children, many of them, sons and daughters who filled the house with laughter. But instead of compassion, Peninnah chose cruelty. Day after day, year after year, she mocked Hannah.
Where is your God now? Why has he closed your womb? Maybe you are not worthy to be a mother.
Her words were like arrows, sharp, piercing, relentless. Hannah would sit quietly, tears streaming down her face, unable to respond. Her pain was too deep for words. Elkanah would try to comfort her.
Hannah, why do you weep? Am I not better to you than 10 sons?
Elkanah, you are good to meet. But my heart is empty?
But even love, true, sincere love, could not replace what her soul longed for. Hannah didn't just want a child. She wanted a miracle. The journey to Shiloh. Every year, Elkanah would take his family to Shiloh, where the house of the Lord stood. It was a sacred place, a place of sacrifice, worship, and encounter with God. But for Hannah, it was also a place of pain. During the feast, Peninnah would provoke her even more. The laughter, the children, the comparisons. Hannah could no longer bear it. One year, overwhelmed with grief, she rose quietly from the table. Her food untouched, her heart heavy. She walked toward the tabernacle. This time, something was different. She wasn't going to cry silently anymore. She was going to pray. The prayer that shook heaven. Inside the tabernacle, the atmosphere was still. The priest Eli sat near the doorway, watching. This was not just a prayer. It was a vow. Hannah wasn't asking just to receive, she was ready to release.
If you will only look upon your servant's misery, and remember me, and not forget.
Tears streamed down her face as she poured out her soul before God. Eli, observing her silent lips and emotional state, misunderstood.
How long will you keep on drinking? Get rid of your wine!
Hannah, startled, lifted her head.
Not so, my lord. I am a woman deeply troubled. I have not been drinking wine or beer. I was pouring out my soul to the Lord. Do not take your servant for a wicked woman. And I have been praying here out of my great anguish and grief.
Something shifted in that moment. Eli's expression softened. He recognized it. This was not drunkenness. This was desperation meeting faith. Hannah's heart changed instantly. She walked away, not with a child, but with peace. And sometimes peace is the first sign that the miracle has already begun. The miracle arrives. Time passed. Seasons changed. And then, the impossible happened. Hannah conceived. The woman who once wept in silence now carried life within her. When the child was born, she named him Samuel, meaning,
because I asked the Lord for him.
Every time she called his name, she remembered the prayer. Every time she held him, she remembered the promise. Samuel was not just her son, he was her answered prayer. The hard part of faith. But Hannah had made a vow. And true faith is not just about receiving, it is about obedience. When Samuel was weaned, still very young, Hannah prepared for the hardest moment of her life. She took him to Shiloh, back to the place where she once cried, back to the place where God heard her. Standing
As
before
surely
Eli,
as you live,
she
my
spoke
Lord,
with
I
quiet
am the
strength.
woman who stood here beside you praying to the Lord. I prayed for this child, and the Lord has granted me what I asked of him.
So Lord bless you.
Before she left, she lifted her voice in one of the most powerful prayers ever recorded, a prayer of victory, not sorrow.
My heart rejoices in the Lord. In the Lord my horn is lifted high. My mouth boasts over my enemies, for I delight in your deliverance.
Samuel, my child,
Here I am.
the Lord has called you.
What should I do?
So now I give him to the Lord. For his whole life he will be given over
A
to
mother's
the
sacrifice. So now I give him to the Lord. For his whole life,
Samuel, to serve God faithfully, you must listen with your heart.
But Eli, how can I know what he wants?
Be still and trust. God will guide you, my child.
Good.
He will be with you.
her pain had become praise. Her sorrow had become strength. And her story had only just begun. The boy in the house of God. Samuel grew up in the presence of the Lord, serving under Eli in the tabernacle at Shiloh. While other children played in the streets, Samuel learned the ways of God. He watched the sacrifices. He observed the rituals. He listened. He learned. And most importantly, he served. Each year, Hannah would visit him, bringing a small robe she had carefully made with her own hands.
Samuel,
Every
I brought a new
stitch was
tunic
filled
for you.
with love.
For me, it's beautiful.
Every visit was filled with
Let's
both
put it
joy
on you.
and longing.
It fits perfectly.
Yes, it does. Come.
God did not forget Hannah. He blessed her again, with more sons and daughters. But Samuel remained special. He was set apart. Darkness in the house of God. But not everything in Shiloh was holy. Eli's sons, Hophni and Phinehas, were corrupt. Though they served as priests, they did not honor God. They took advantage of offerings, acted wickedly, and led people astray. The house of God had become polluted, and God was not silent. He was preparing someone, a young boy, a boy who listened, a boy who obeyed. Samuel. The night God called. One quiet night, as the lamp of God still burned, Samuel lay down to sleep. Suddenly, a voice called, "Samuel!" He woke instantly and ran to Eli.
Here I am. You called me.
I did not call you. Go back and lie down.
Samuel returned to bed. Again, the voice came. "Samuel!" He ran to Eli
Here I
again.
am. You called
3
me.
times this
I
happened.
did not call you.
Then Eli
Go back
understood.
and lie down.
God was calling the boy. 3 times this happened. Then Eli understood.
He instructed Samuel, go and lie down, and if he calls you, say, Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening.
Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening.
Samuel, Samuel.
Speak, Lord. Your servant is listening.
And in that moment, God spoke. Not to a king, not to a priest, but to a child. God revealed judgment against Eli's household because of their
The Lord
wickedness.
declares judgment
It
upon
was a
Eli's
heavy
house
message,
for their wickedness.
a terrifying responsibility. Yet Samuel listened, and he obeyed. The rise of a prophet. From that night on, everything changed. Samuel was no longer just a boy serving in the temple. He had become a prophet. The Lord was with him, and everything Samuel spoke came to pass. All of Israel began to recognize that God had raised him up. From Dan to Beersheba, his name spread. People came to seek the word of the Lord. Because God was speaking again. And he was speaking through Samuel. Israel demands a king. Years passed. Samuel grew older and became the leader and judge over Israel. He guided the nation with wisdom and integrity. But the people became restless. They looked at other nations and said,
We need a king, like all the other nations.
But the people became restless. They looked at other nations and said, We want a king to rule over us.
Samuel was deeply troubled. Israel already had a king, God himself. But they wanted something visible, something human, something like the world. Samuel prayed, and God answered.
It is not you they have rejected, but they wanted something visible, but me as their king.
Still, God allowed it. Sometimes God gives people what they insist on, even when it is not His perfect will. The anointing of Saul. God sent Samuel to anoint the first king of Israel. His name was Saul. Tall, handsome, impressive. The kind of king people admired. Samuel poured oil on Saul's head and declared him king. At first, Saul showed humility. But over time, pride crept in. Disobedience followed.
By this sacred oil I anoint you. May it grant you strength and wisdom. I accept this honor. Rise, warrior.
I regret that I have made Saul king.
Samuel was heartbroken, but God was not finished. The anointing of David. God sent Samuel to Bethlehem, to the house of Jesse. One by one, Jesse's sons passed before Samuel. Strong, tall, impressive. Surely, one of them was the chosen one.
But God said, "Do not consider his appearance or his height. The Lord does not look at the things people look at."
People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart.
Then came the youngest, a shepherd boy, forgotten in the fields. His name was David.
Rise and anoint him. This is the one. Samuel poured oil on David's head, and the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully.
Rise and anoint him. This is the one.
The legacy of a prayer. Think about this. If Hannah had not prayed, Samuel would not have been born. If Samuel had not been born, there would have been no prophet to guide Israel, no anointing of kings, no David. And without David, the lineage leading to the Messiah would be incomplete. All because a woman prayed. Epilogue: the power of a praying woman. Hannah's story is not just about motherhood. It is about surrender, faith, persistence, and the power of prayer that refuses to give up. She turned her pain into purpose, her tears into testimony, her prayer into a prophet, and her obedience into a legacy that shaped a nation. Samuel grew to become one of the greatest prophets Israel ever knew. But behind his voice was a mother's prayer. Final reflection. The world may overlook quiet prayers, but heaven does not. God hears. God remembers. God answers. And sometimes, the answer doesn't just change your life, it changes history.
Kindly subscribe to the channel for more unique messages like this from Daystar Art Studio. Like, comment, and hit the subscribe button.